the Tigers Den podcast. What is up, Tiger Nation? Welcome back to the Tigers Den podcast. As always, I'm your host, Cole Gerard, alongside Thomas Mathis and Tigers Den alumni, Mr. Derian Richardson, a.k.a. the Mayor. We'll give him a How you doing, man?
Doing good. Hope everybody here is well. Big weekend for college football actually starts here in about 15 minutes with USF and Boise State. So ready for a good weekend. 5 straight days of college football, which is always amazing. So ready to get going.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Clemson men's soccer on getting a huge win Tuesday night against in-state rival South Carolina. Congrats to Coach Noonan and the lads. All right, Thomas, take it away.
We are back. It is time. It is officially game week. The Bayou Bengals made a little trip. We're making a little trip up here. And really excited. You know, this is probably, I would say, one of the biggest home games I think we've seen in Clemson for a while. Or at least for my time here. This is my 5th year. But Derian, what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I think it is definitely one of the biggest games that we've witnessed in a long time. I also think it's huge, not only for Clemson to get started hot, but also LSU. I think LSU will come in ready to play. Garrett Nussmeier is obviously an incredible quarterback. And then not only that, you look on the wide receiver side, Barry Brown from Kentucky, who has crazy speed. So just ready to see how that goes and ready to see how does Clemson show up. First game of the year, last year, it didn't go very well. You look back to Duke when we came out, we dropped the egg against Duke. And we really could have won easily. I'm going to say easily both games. I mean, the Georgia game obviously was scored and not show what it really represented. It was 3-6 at halftime. But at the same time, you do have a chance to really get something going, something big going, more importantly, and to be the SEC team. And, that last year 0-3 is SEC. So we don't want a 4th straight loss. So I think it's kind of what we're looking forward to, and just seeing all the fans, 7:30 kickoff. Haven't really had a great night game in Clemson in a long time. And so I wish College Game Day was here, but, ACC Huddle is here. So
we got ACC Huddle.
Go crazy there. But, yeah, just ready to see how it goes.
No, and it's kind of going back to what we talked about last week, with the returning talent that Clemson has, and also LSU's returning some talent. I think that's what I'm most excited for is I guess within my 4 starting 5 years here at Clemson, I've gone through my time as a student watching these guys develop, watching Kay develop, watching TJ Parker, Peter Woods, guys like that. I'm just really excited. A lot of those guys, this is probably being their last year before going to the draft. Just returning 16 to 22 guys, I think the potential is through the roof. I think, obviously, last year we had our downfalls, run game, that kind of thing, defensively stopping the run game. Yeah. But I'm excited to kind of see how we fix those and how they solve some of those issues. And there's just a lot of narratives about this game. It's like you said, the 0-3 against the SEC, coming into what a lot of people are saying could be a college football playoff team with LSU. But also kind of just bringing in the narrative about who's the real Death Valley and that narrative.
Yeah. It's our first home opener since any of us were in college. 2019 Georgia Tech. I don't know, Derian, were you in college in 2019?
I was not in college in 2019. I don't play. But,
yeah. So our first opener since 2019, and neither of these teams, both Tigers, but neither of these teams are good in opening games. So I think this is a great matchup we're about to have in Death Valley.
I'll also say this. I also think it's a big matchup just for ACC in general. I know we're talking about the Pickems later, but Jim Phillips watching this really closely. I mean, the ACC goes, let's say, 0-5 in the games that they get to play this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It doesn't really look good for the ACC as far as moving on and moving progressively forward, because not only that, the ACC also, the college football playoff, anyways, they decide before the college football playoff even starts. So for Jim Phillips, he's watching all 5 of those ACC games really close. And then, you have that big Monday game with TCU, North Carolina. So it's a very good weekend, ready to go.
Yep.
So the keys to the game, what does Clemson have to do to get a week 1 top 10 win at home? Obviously, Tom Allen's first game in the Valley. We heard Cade say last week that you're going to get a full 4 quarters of this Clemson offense, that we haven't seen in recent years. It seems like you get up in a game and here comes Clemson and the Tigers, doing everything they can to slow down almost. And I don't know if it's a coaching thing or is this, we're trying to get more guys in. But Kay Klubnik did say you're going to get a full 4 quarters of this offense.
Well, I also think from the defensive side of the ball, you got to play 4 quarters and get Garrett Nussmeier. The kid's good. And whether people will want to say that, a lot of people say, he's overrated over this, that, and the other. Garrett Nussmeier is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And so you got to be ready to play that. Not only that, you got to be ready for a new defensive scheme. I really do think you pick on Harold Perkins, though, because Harold Perkins, if he's against, let's say someone like Antonio Williams in the slot or if Antonio Williams moves out wide, but you can put anybody there. Harold Perkins can guard one-on-one.
Yeah.
So Kay has to see that real fast, see if they drop that down, have one high safety. Those kind of things are going to be huge because you saw real fast what Alabama did. Alabama destroyed them.
Yeah.
To be a 41-6 at LSU. So, it's just kind of interesting. And then, the matchup I'm looking forward to the most is the defensive line versus the offensive line. I don't think, LSU's offensive line has been very good. They haven't even played together, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So you have a chance there with a group. The defensive line is probably the best since the Power Rangers to actually go against the offensive line who never really played together. You can't give Garrett Nussmeier time; he'll pick you apart. I don't care who he played, but you have to put that pressure on him, and then you got to keep Sammy Brown on the field. I think that's another huge piece that last year we saw real fast what happened when you took him on the field in South Carolina. So just making sure you put the right pieces there and getting ready to go. And I'm also really excited to see how good Ronan Hannafin is.
Yes.
I think Ronan Hannafin has a great chance to move from receiver to defense. I think he has a really good chance of playing a lot of snaps and being really good. Really, really good. So we will see what happens there. But, yeah, I think that's the main, I think as far as offensive line, defensive line goes, I think Clemson obviously holds the edge there, defensive line. And not only that, you also have depth now. Last year, you really have depth. You had Peter Woods defensive end, going back to the regular position, defensive tackle. So I think as far as, that goes, that's going to where you're going to win that game in the trenches. And we're going to see how that goes.
And I like what you said about our D-line matches up good with their O-line. I really like that matchup because I think I saw LSU they have one returning guy that played on that O-line last year. I don't know for sure if he started. I think he came in halfway through the year.
He played valuable snaps.
Yeah, starter got hurt. He came in halfway through the year, which we had some guys like that last year. But Brian Kelly saying that they could have 6-7 guys.
Yeah,
6 or 7 guys playing O-line. But it's like you said, our depth defensive line wise, you got Peter Woods, TJ Parker, Stephon Green. You got.
Well, I think you were talking about the biggest piece is the interior defensive line. Peter Woods and K Park.
Yeah,
those two together is.
And it's like you said, putting Peter Woods back in at D tackle.
Yeah,
I think that's a lot better just with his size. He's great across the line, but having him up the middle to clog that up, I think that's the best place for him. But kind of what you said, Garrett Nussmeier, I will give him credit. He's a great quarterback. Finished the season last year with 4,052 yards, and he had a 64.2 completion rating. Yeah. But one thing I see is he finished the year with negative 38 rushing yards. Yeah. So I think he's not a scramble out kind of guy. I think he will scramble out if he needs to, but I think the biggest thing for Clemson is to basically just shut him down, know when to send pressure, and just get your D-line, just light a fire in them and just collapse the pocket on him. He's going to stand in there and he's going to take a hit, but just don't give him enough time to let the receivers get deep, or just don't let him give enough time.
And I'm going to say something about the South Carolina Gamecocks here because I can't stand them. But watching what Dylan Stewart and Kennard and all those guys did to Nussmeier last year, and with the caliber defensive line we have, and then you got linebackers Sammy Brown, Wade Woodhouse, those guys. Their offensive line does not stand a chance with our defensive line. You send them rushing, Ben Bowler. Did y'all see the video of Ben Bowler drop today? I mean, St. Brown's going to rip somebody's head off Saturday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Nussmeier's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't see their offensive line holding up our D line at all.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to come ready to play. I mean, they're come ready to play. If you're not coming ready to play, come prepared. Really quit this game. This game could get out of hand really quick either way if you don't come ready to play. And it comes down to how are the DBs? How are they playing? And truthfully, last year, if this game goes down to a field goal, last year you're kind of scared it's going to get blocked.
Yeah.
Seems like they got a protection better at Clemson. I would say, Brian Kelly probably has the most pressure he's ever had in his career. So if he plays well under that pressure, if he handles that pressure well, let's see what kind of the thing that we're going to see out of Brian Kelly. I would not be shocked if you see a quick deep shot early in the game. I won't be shocked if you see some kind of trick play.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff's going to happen, especially when you're playing away in a stadium like Death Valley. Then it's tough.
It's a real Death Valley.
It's really tough because you got to quiet that crowd down really fast, especially if you start out on offense. You want to get them quiet, and I think seeing how when they were at South Carolina, I think people forget South Carolina was up by 2 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, 17-0.
Yeah, actually, maybe
17-0.
They were up by 3 possessions.
3 possessions.
Yeah.
So,
But
people don't talk about that, and you just see them rally back. That was really rally back really quick.
yeah,
So he has his team. He has a good locker room. He knows what he's doing. He revamped that defense, which made it even better. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we prepared for Garrett Nussmeier, for the receivers that he brought in. I mean, Brian Kelly's one of the best at the transfer portal. So we're going to see we're going to figure out real quick what kind of schemes that we're throwing out. I mean, Tom Allen. People also don't understand this. Tom Allen was, other than Jim Knowles that went from Ohio State to Penn State, Tom Allen is the best defense, one of the best defensive minds in the country. There's not even a question. So what does he prepare? What does he throw at Garrett Nussmeier? What does he throw at, do we bring more safety blitzes? Do we blitz more? What do we do in order to make him uncomfortable? I think that's the number one thing is just making sure he's not comfortable and then making sure that we keep the pressure alive on him.
And I'm hoping we get the ball first. I usually tell the guy that wants to defer to the second half, but give me the daggum ball, play action pass, let it air out, touchdown Westco, TJ Moore, somebody. But
I'll say this too real quick. I would agree with you if we weren't at home.
yeah.
If we were at Death Valley, I'd say, yeah, quite a
Well, we are at Death Valley.
Well,
really. If we weren't
I
at,
keep forgetting we're both Death Valley. If we're at LSU Stadium,
be a good statement.
then we would, Clemson would won the ball first. But now that they're
So you think you
at
win the
home,
toss, you defer.
you defer because
I think-
you want the crowd to get into it real fast.
That's true.
When you play offense, the crowd's kind of shushed up. Real quick.
Yeah, you get the defense
You get
out
defense
there,
out there,
got a
you
little
get the
swag
video comes
serve.
on, all that kind
I
of
think
stuff.
I think defense goes out there first. You shut them down, get a turnover, get a big
Three
time
and out.
stop.
3 and out.
Yeah, 3 and out, big time stop like that. It's like you said, gets the crowd into it, and then the offense comes on the field and they light it up first, second play. I think the stadium just jumps into it, and it's kind of like you said. Wow, I just completely forgot. I was reading one of the comments talking about playing under the lights. Will it affect the way Clemson plays? I don't think so. I think this team, yes, we picked up a few transfers. I think we picked up 3, but we've seen a lot of development from this team. They've been through ups and downs. Thought we were on the verge of something last year. We were just right there with the Texas game, getting in the playoffs, won the ACC championship. Year before, kind of up and down, lost some games we shouldn't have lost. But I think that's just been the story of Clemson football the last couple of years is they're right there on the edge. They lose a couple games they shouldn't lose. And maybe they even win some they shouldn't win.
Correct.
But I think this is the year that across the board, coaches, players, staff, everybody, including the community, I think this is the year that everybody's just they're on board. And I think we have a great chance to go all the way, but we'll kind of see how the season plays out.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this, but LSU starting safety and former All Big 12 safety AJ Halsey will miss the first half of the game Saturday after he was ejected in the final game of the Houston season last year for fighting. So that's a advantage right there. I mean, it's not a huge advantage, but it's something, you got to use it.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, this is what I will say about a lot of these teams is no matter who you throw out there, they can try to go start somewhere else.
Yeah.
So just because you lose one person, unless you lose multiple DBs, which I wouldn't mind. But me, multiple defensive backs, and yeah, I would probably say, it'd be very tough. He was really good at Houston. He did get in a fight in the bowl game, of course. But at the same time, you still got you don't change your game plan, right? You're still going to be ready to go, still going to be locked in, loaded, and I think, like I told you, I think the biggest thing comes down to defensive line versus offensive line. And, no matter what, I think Clemson score real easily. I also think LSU score real easily. But I think the biggest difference is you're returning 80% of your players who had production last year. You're not really missing nothing on Clemson's offensive line. LSU's defense has never really been good, and LSU doesn't win the opener. So they've lost the last 5 openers, and not only that, all 5 of those were neutral sites. So people don't talk about that enough as well. You went 0-5 in your last, or the 0-4, anyway, whatever it is.
It's like 0-3 or 0-4.
Yeah, you lost all those games in a row. You talk to a lot of LSU fans; they're not very confident either. So I think for this game particularly, I will say there's 10 times more pressure on Brian Kelly than Dabo or Clemson. LSU has to win this game. If they don't, their schedule is brutal. Yeah. So they're not going to keep, destroying people. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. 7:30 kickoff. Everybody's, you got to wait all day for that. So just kind of ready to see how it goes. I think I was reading this by Dean Cox. He said 42-17. The good Tigers, I would, that would be pretty impressive if Clemson put a whooping up on like that. I don't see it
beat them by multiple possessions.
Yeah, I ain't gonna make my prediction yet because we're talking about it later. But I do think,
I like
that's a very hefty score for that game.
I love it, Dean. Like you said, offensive line, defensive line is the biggest matchup, but. My favorite room of all for Clemson football now is the wide receiver room. Obviously, LSU's got a great defense, great secondary, but you got Brian Wesco, T.J. Moore, Antonio Williams, Tristan Smith, Tyler Brown, Coulter, and these guys. What gets better than that wide receiver room? And I think about 5 of our wide receivers could go start anywhere else in the country. And for us to have such a loaded wide receiver room, even when people wanted Tyler Grisham fired last year, 2 years ago, Coach Sweeney kept him. People were like, "Oh, don't keep anybody that's a former player of yours," but yada, yada, yada. Ben Bowler won a national championship. Look at his linebacker room right now. I guess we'll see really how they are Saturday. But, look at this Garrett Riley-led offense, Tyler Grisham wide receiver room. What gets better than this wide receiver room? I haven't seen anything like this in a while.
Yeah, you probably don't see it till you look back whenever DeAndre Hopkins were playing, truthfully. But even then, you still go back, you're like, wow, this isn't really a wide receiver room that has a lot of depth. Yeah. There's a lot of depth here, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how we, who we put out there in certain situations will be very interesting to me because, Tristan Smith sits 5, can jump out the gym. So, if you're 3rd and 10, you might as well throw him out there and see if you can get a jump ball.
There's not a whole lot of balls.
Yeah.
50 balls that he's not going to come down
with, right? Yeah. So, and he's fast. So it's not like, you're missing something on that side of the ball. Where you've got a slow receiver who's just tall, throw a jump ball. Now this gets fast. So, I think one person I'm really interested to see who plays is 2 people, Cole Turner and Tyler Brown. No one's talking about either one of those. People don't realize Tyler Brown,
freshman aware.
Tyler Brown, not going to say this lightly. He carried an offense. He made those plays whenever we needed him.
As a freshman,
yeah. When Clemson needed to play, go Tyler Brown, right? So seeing him miss last year was a little difficult, but at the same time, you still have weapons, right? Tyler Brown's going to be out there, and then interesting enough, which I'm really, really curious to see is Adam Randall. Will he go into a Debo role, or will he, primarily play running back? We're very curious because if you put him out there wide, now you're not just playing running back. You're playing a former receiver who can catch the ball. So there's a lot of cool things with that offense you can do. Tight end, is kind of questionable. Truthfully, that's probably the weak spot of Clemson's offense because they're hosting Pat Henry, and then there's that redshirt freshman, right?
Christian Vincent Cure.
Yeah,
Cure.
And I think Christian, truthfully, in my opinion, and I haven't really seen him play, but just by his build and by what people say about him, he could be one of the best tight ends ever come to Clemson. So. Who starts there? Dabo didn't release a depth chart, so we don't really know what's going to go on. But who starts a tight end? That's really interesting because, that group's led by Kyle Richardson, who was one of the best high school coaches ever. And he's developed, Jake Brennan into what he was. And so I'm kind of curious to see how that works out. It's just, time will tell how that works out. And then, last year we had that question mark of defensive backs, where we're like, well, we don't really know who to throw out there, or we're kind of a little worried,
Yeah.
But defensive backs are going to be great this year. You have two really good safeties, two really good corners who can make the ACC first team easily. So just ready to see how that goes. And, looking down, you don't want to look ahead to schedules, but looking to see when we get the ACC play, how do we adapt and change, and who are we throwing out there when time really matters.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you said, looking at Adam Randall, I think a lot of people are really excited to see him just because we don't know what we're going to see from him. We don't know if we're going to see straight running back, he's hitting a hole, he's running down the field, or we don't know if we're going to see him pop out some and go out for some passes, which I think that's the thing that I'm most excited for, or pretty excited for, is just kind of see him in that versatile role. But talking about Tyler Brown, I think that's one of the one player I'm most excited to see this year. And it's like you said, freshman All-American, gets hurt last year. We don't see a whole lot from him. But I think he said in an interview, it doesn't upset him to hear all the praise about the wide receiver room and get left out of a couple of those talks, because he likes to be low-key. He likes to almost let the other guys, get in there, throw some punches, and then when you think they're down and out, or if for some reason we had a wide receiver go down or somebody comes out of the game, it's not like, oh, we're just drawing straws, throwing a receiver in there. You've got a former freshman All-American coming in there, and it's like I said in the interview, he's coming in with the right hook. He's coming in with the knockout punch. And I really like how he accepts that role. Okay, I was a freshman All-American. I was hurt last year. These TJ Moore, Bryant Wesker, these two guys improved themselves last year. Not saying that they're 10 times better than me or I'm better than them, but I know my role. I know that I have more to prove. Not that he hasn't proved anything, but I know I have more to prove. And I'm excited to see him improve on that.
Yeah. We've talked about the offensive a lot. We talked about the defense, but the biggest thing that I want to see out of this Tom Allen defense is stopping the run. That Texas game, probably Cade's best game of his career. The offense played outstanding, in my opinion. We lose that game because we can't tackle a person or tackle a player. If Tom Allen's defense can go out there fired up Saturday night, 8:00 p.m. in Death Valley, and stop the run, offense goes out there and helps them out, there's no reason Clemson doesn't win this game. Two plays good, defense plays good, but my biggest concern is, can we stop the run? Obviously, last year with the West going led defense, we could not do that. So I think this is the biggest test. This is it kind of adds to your reason for deferring. Let's see it. That's the reason we made the big hire. Why not go do it when it matters?
Yeah, but the thing is with LSU's running back, LSU's not really run the ball. So
yeah, but still,
that's
coming off of a game like that.
Yeah, correct. That's one of the things that people, when you watch LSU very rarely gonna run the ball. And why would you? You have a quarterback like you do, let him win you the game. Obviously you're gonna run, and truthfully, you're not gonna be able to run the ball either. In my opinion, because you have, like I said, you have a sketchy offensive line. You don't ever want to run the ball with a sketchy offensive line. But, I think in order for LSU to win this game, they're going to run the ball. So it's just very interesting to see how it goes. Like I said, I don't really know which way it's going to go yet. But I do think Clemson has a chance to really, instead of all that preseason hype that they're getting around, to really put a stamp on that, say, yeah, we're for real kind of thing.
Yeah.
And because no one's really thinking LSU will be national championship contender.
Yeah.
They're not. But you go look at the polls and everything, LSU's ninth in the country. They're not going to finish. They won't make the college football playoff. I very highly doubt that.
Bold prediction from Mr. Richardson.
I don't hate that. Just looking.
I don't either.
Looking at their schedule and some of the games they have. They have some questionable games down the road.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much praise, but South Carolina, they were a hell of a team on the road last year. And people say, oh, well, South Carolina's got to play at LSU. That's an automatic loss for South Carolina. Not trying to praise South Carolina too much, but They played great on the road last year. I mean, you watched that. Yeah, they gave it up to Alabama. A couple of bad decisions.
It's not a great Alabama team either.
No, and that's that. I mean, there's multiple levels to it. But I agree. I don't think
I agree with
LSU is as good as people say or think they're going to be this year. I think they'll win some games, but I also think they'll lose some games. And I think they'll give some games up that people aren't expecting them to.
But I mean, the biggest thing is getting to play on your home field.
Yeah.
So I'll let Derian add whatever.
I don't think I really have much to add. I kind of talked a lot, so I don't really think I have too much to add. I just, I think Clemson has to come ready prepared, which I think they are. Clemson only has to do that. They have to put a stamp on it. As far as you want to be a contender, not a pretender, you got to win this first game. And I think that's one of the biggest things. You cannot, I can't stress this enough, and I hate saying this, but you go 0-4 against SEC, that does not look good.
Not at all.
You lose 4 straight. I mean, actually, hold up. That'll be 5. No, could be Clemson, Kentucky. So you're 1-5 in your last 6 games, or what? Right? Is that correct?
Beat Kentucky. You lost to Georgia. You lost to South Carolina.
1-4.
You lost to Texas.
Okay, it's 1-3. My fault.
So
Even better. So I'm all over them. So 1-3. So it'll be great to get that win. It had me not just great to get it. I almost think it's a must win. It's a must win for Clemson. Looking later down their schedule, I think Clemson has to win that one compared to the rest of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Before we hop to our pick'em, we got somebody in the Tigers Den text line. We got Bubbles from TR. Hope Cole and Thomas had a good offseason and glad to see Derian back. One question I have is what quarter does the stadium run out of alcohol? Bubbles can't wait to have a cold neutral in his hand and throw it at Brian Kelly.
Please
Don't do that. Don't do it, Bubbles. I'd hate to have to come bail you out.
Not just bail you out. We don't want a 15-yard penalty.
I think they run out of alcohol Saturday.
Well, what LSU is known for is being the drunkest fans, most drunk, obnoxious fans in an opposing fan base. That's what they're known for. That's what they're going to do.
It's going to happen. It was going to happen if we were selling it or not selling it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's brought in alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, Dabo said that at his press conference.
Yeah, it's not something that haven't been seen, so I think Clemson needs to use some money off of it. I'm not trying to tell you something, no. I'm just being real here. I mean, every single person in that stadium, not gonna say every single person, but I would bet I would put a lot of money on 60% of that stadium is brought in alcohol some kind of way. Yeah. Especially in a night game.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, and I think that's another thing that people don't understand about these night games is when people are drinking all day.
When you give somebody 6 a.m.
and they go from drinking all day to a stadium, and not only that, first off, there's been up and down weather reports. Hopefully it's not raining. It's been up and down. It's supposed to be, when I first looked, it would be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they were talking about, well, this front's coming in, yada, yada, yada. But, so hopefully it's not raining, but it's supposed to be great weather. And if it is great weather, then that's just going to be even more for Clemson.
Yeah. And
I think, I'm ready to see. What I'm really curious about is how many LSU fans actually show up this game.
I think a good bit of them.
Because I was actually at the Stockton LSU game, and that LSU showed out. I mean, they brought everybody. So
bring them.
So I'm kind of curious to see how many people were reselling their tickets who are just not going to come because I don't know what reason you would come, but how many people are not going to be here, and then not only that, how many LSU fans actually get in the game? That's going to be really interesting to me.
Yeah. I had 4 LSU fans come into work today, so they're
I saw some LSU fans eating a CSP, and there were some at Triple T's, but it's a great week of college football. You can't ask for a better matchup than this. No disrespect to the FCS teams, but this is a lot better than opening up with Furman and stuff like that. We'll see them later on in the road, but it's always good to open up with a top 10 matchup in Death Valley. I haven't seen that in a while. The last one is what? It's after Georgia, right? Had to be. Was it Auburn? Auburn was the second game of the year, wasn't it?
I couldn't tell you. I really don't remember.
A&M maybe, but A&M was the second game of the year too.
I really couldn't tell you. I will say
2013 Georgia.
I won't know because we played Louisville.
Not in the opener.
Oh, the opener. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can tell you last time the opener was like that. No.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this: if you go back and look against Louisville, you go back and look at Notre Dame. There's 2 games. Clemson is stomp racing both of them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we just let them come creeping right back. Clemson lets them come creeping right back every single time. that can't happen.
No, sir.
It just can't happen because this is a veteran. LSU's a veteran team. Clemson is too, but LSU's a veteran team. And when you have Deshaun Watson going out there against Lamar Jackson, that's kind of the same kind of feeling you're getting right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's two Heisman hopefuls, who really want to win this game, not only for their coaches, but more importantly, because if they lose this game, their Heisman stock's going to drop. Their draft stock looks bad. And I think there was something that said every single team is bringing a scout or GM or something. Something crazy. I think there's 4 GMs going to be here, and I think there's 28 scouts or something. So, I think this is, as far as quarterbacks go, I think this is the most hyped-up quarterback battle that you're going to see as far as the regular season game goes.
Yep. 2 top picks.
Yeah, so you have 2 really good players, and just ready to see how that all shapes out.
Yeah, it's like they say, play to the whistle, play to the horn of the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just quit.
Also, for all you Clemson fans who are watching, do not storm that field, please, because those fines are going to rack up real fast.
Storm it.
Do not storm it until they say you can go, because the more fines you get,
it's a lot of fun to hang out with.
Actually, I'm a lot of fun to hang out with. But the more that gathering at the ball is one of the best traditions Clemson has. No other school really does it. So if you keep doing it, what's going to happen is there will be no more gathering at the ball. And they're going to put fences up, and you're not going to get onto the field. So you're going to have to you can get wherever you want to. Whenever those $100,000 fines just keep racking up, and they go to $500,000 real fast, Clemson's going to be like, yeah, we're not doing this no more. Especially in the world of NIL. So, just be a little bit patient for this game.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about this Clemson LSU game. We're going to hold off there and get to our college football pick'em. First up on the list is
I think, for what people know about Julius Saban is that was supposed to be Nick Saban's prodigy.
Yeah.
Nick Saban recruited him originally. He transferred to Alabama when Kellen DeBoer got there, and then went to Ohio State. But not only that, I think, first off, Arch is obviously going to be good. But I will say this. The hype that is behind Arch is just way too much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see, very rarely do you ever see a quarterback start 2 games and then get this kind of hype. I will say, when he did come in, he did perform.
Yeah.
He performed really well. But will he perform in horseshoe? I don't know, because that's a very different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk a lot about Texas. Texas is actually, they're number 1 for a reason. They're really good on defense, really good on offense. I think one thing that people are not mentioning about this 2.5, it's 2.5, right? Isn't that a spread 2.5?
for the Ohio State game.
Yeah. 2.5, right? Went down.
Yeah.
Okay, so both his coordinators are gone, and he hired 2 guys who were from the NFL, I believe, and so you lost your running back, you lost a lot of people, but once again, it pays to play in the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're not, very rarely you're going to lose there. So unless you're playing Michigan, it seems like in a couple of years, but they don't lose there, and I would be very, very, very shocked to see Arch Manning go into the shoe and just destroy Ohio State. Very shocked to see that. I will say I'm ready to see how Julian Saban is because the kid was Nick Saban's next step. He was going to be the guy for Nick Saban. And so, if Nick Saban thinks you're good, then I
think you have a lot of potential.
Yeah, so it's, really interested to see how that goes. And like I said, Arch hasn't played in a away place. In a real away place where he's the starting guy. Yeah. So I'm just curious, really curious.
I think that's the biggest thing with college football this year is there's a lot of unknowns. Yes, you have Texas at 1. Yes, Ohio State's up there, Clemson's up there, Georgia's up there. But a lot of those teams are either they got rid of their big time guys or their big time guys got drafted. Or if you're like Clemson, you're returning a lot of guys, but you had a lot of faults last year. There's a lot of unknowns. You don't know what kind of Clemson's going to show up. You don't know what kind of Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Georgia. You don't know what kind of teams are going to show up. So I think that's the most exciting thing for me at this point is, yes, you have the rankings that are set right now, but they're pretty much wide open.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say any team is really returning enough people and enough status from last season to be able to say before the first game, oh, they're going to win the national championship. Just because you just don't know at this point.
I can agree with you more. I think the only team that's really going to be returning the last Penn State, and you look at Penn State's up in the 4 games. I mean, they're a cakewalk, right?
Yeah.
So, Penn State's obviously going to be undefeated coming into whoever they played at Big Ten. But, I'm really ready to see how that game goes. I think it's going to be a great game. It's 12 o'clock kickoff. Thank goodness Fox and YouTube TV worked out their deal.
Did they?
They didn't work it out immediately, but it's a little tension right now because I don't really know what's going on there. But yeah, kind of ready to see how that game goes.
Yeah. You want to take the next game or?
Hold up, we didn't make no picks. Who's picking?
Oh crap! I'm sorry. I'm going with the Buckeyes here. Playing at home in Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium. Then you got redshirt freshman Arch Manning for Texas. And I mean, seeing ending the year, Clemson ended the year with Texas last year, and just seeing their offense and got to see a little bit of Arch Manning on some plays. I mean, going into Columbus and playing in that atmosphere is hard. Tennessee went in there with their shirts off in the snow and thought they were big and tough. And apparently, when they took their shirts off, they ran right back to the sideline and put them back on just for the reaction. But as much as I hate them, I'm going with Buckeyes.
I'll let you go next. I'll go last.
I think I'm going to take the Buckeyes on this one. Wow. I don't like to pull for Texas. I'm just not a big Texas guy. And it's mostly – not saying he's a bad coach. I'm just not really a big Steve Sarkisian guy. But to that being said, I'm not an Ohio State guy either by any means. But I'm just like, I know Arch Manning is going to be good, and I know he is good, but I'm just not on board with as much hype as he's getting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was reading this. He said, "Hey, pay that fine. See you at the ball." That's a pretty funny comment. I don't know who that is.
That's Bubbles from TR.
Okay, well, that's a good comment. I like that comment. Yeah, so they both went Ohio State. I'm going to Texas. And I did say that about Arch, but at the same time, it's hard to replace some of those guys. I will say, Jeremiah Smith is not going to have or whatever he had against Texas the first time. When they played in the college football playoff, he didn't really play that good. So I think it's a revenge game for him. But I do think Texas will win that game. I do think it's like a 20-24 kind of game. And, I think Steve Sarkisian is one of the best offensive coaches in the world. So I don't see why he could not develop something. He has one of the best defenses in the country right now. So I'm going to go Texas.
Okay. Well, let's take it to Miami Gardens, Florida. We got Miami versus Notre. For that matchup, is that on Sunday? Sunday at 7:30. I mean, looking at Carson Beck coming from Georgia, got to play him in the opener last year. Great quarterback, but I I just don't see Miami being crazy this year. And I think, looking at Mario Cristobal, I think they have a lot to prove this year. Taking Carson Beck from Georgia, top SEC program. Looking at this game, this is one of those games that can go anyway, both ways for sure. But if I'm picking somebody, Notre Dame's got a slight edge at -2.5, favored in Miami, which we know there's not going to be a lot of fans there. They don't ever pack games out. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of the gold.
Yeah.
So, what is this? What is this game? What do they call it? The Catholics versus the Convicts.
Yeah.
So we hadn't seen this in a while. Give me the Irish.
You got a pick here?
Or
you want to talk? Here we go.
You go first.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't looked at this game at all,
Okay.
so I don't know much about it.
Miami's going to destroy Notre Dame.
We can just pick them.
Miami-
Hey, it's
Miami
week 1. We're
is
rusty,
going to-
dude. It's
Miami's
fine.
going to destroy Notre Dame.
You think so?
It's not going to be a contest. First off, Carson Beck last year, Georgia had the most drops in college football last year.
He's dealing with that still.
Not only that, I saw Joel Klatt said this. I think it was Joel Klatt, but he was talking about how Mario Cristobal said Carson Beck is expected to have the same production as Cam Ward did last year. And if that happens, Miami's going to be really good. And Notre Dame has not won in Miami since 1977. So, and rather not, people, this is the thing is like, obviously, like you said, Miami does not pack out stadiums. But whenever you have that Monday off, you can go to that game.
Yeah,
Sure.
Well, they had that Sunday
They had
off.
Sunday off, but
I mean,
it's a little different. I'll say it's a little different.
Come on, man. It's been for years.
Yeah, I agree, but I think they're obviously Notre Dame travels really well. But I do think Miami's just going to pull away. Originally, I was like, it's going to be close. I said that. I thought it was going to be really close. But the more I started thinking about how Notre Dame is starting a freshman quarterback, the more that I saw last year, not only Notre Dame in that national championship, don't be wrong, but, at the same time, I'm like, Marcus Freeman is bound to drop one game every year. So I think this is the one that he drops. And so I will take Miami.
I think again, don't know much about this game. Didn't really look into it, but
I kind of just threw games on there.
kind of like you said. Obviously, Carson Beck had his ups and downs at Georgia, but he's got the time. He's got the reps. He's got the time in at quarterback versus a true freshman quarterback. I think I'm just going to go with Miami on this one. I think they just have the experience on the offensive side of the ball, and I think they'll take care of it.
Yeah. Bold pick for those guys. We were going to take it to one of my favorite games. I don't know.
They play, so Tennessee, Syracuse, and South Carolina, Virginia Tech.
Which game's first?
Tennessee, Syracuse, South Carolina, Virginia Tech plays at 3:30 on Sunday.
Okay. I mean, I'm a huge Fran Brown guy. Ever since the game last year, I was sitting at Tokyo actually, right after the South Carolina Clemson game, eating my sorrows away. Just trying to comprehend what had happened. And I'm like preparing myself, asking if I want to go to Orlando for the Cheez-It Bowl or do I want to save the money for this year. Miami's up.
Meet me on 6th Street. Yeah. He wound up going to 6th Street in Austin, Texas.
I did. Miami's up 21-0. I'm like, okay, that's it. It is what it is. We choked. We win that game in the playoffs. Miami's up 21-0. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna enjoy my food, get back to dockside, unwind a little bit, and I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm not even paying attention to the TV. I look up and it's tied, and I'm like, hold on a second, we might be going to Charlotte next week. Yeah. And Q's pulled it off. Fran Brown went viral for the Dabo Sweeney. I got you in. He doesn't wash unless he wins. I don't know if he's serious there.
I hope not, because dude sweat so much.
But quarterback Steve Angeli versus former App State Mountaineer who we saw last year, Joey Aguilar. Aguilar came in this past spring when Nico hit the portal. I think that's a tough spot for Tennessee, even though Tennessee is favored -13.5. Sending Joey Aguilar out there versus, this Syracuse team seems like they start off 6-0 every year and then go 6-6. So if Fran Brown wants that statement win, for his career, it's got to be in Atlanta. Give me Fran Brown and the orange. I'm making bold picks. So
I don't know if it's bold or stupid. I don't know which one that is.
Hey, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago when we did the Tigers Den with David, I think Derian made a crazy pick. Said something like Colorado was going to the playoffs or something.
David said Colorado was going to the playoffs, not Derian. I never think he said
Give me Fran Brown and the orange.
Truly, it's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick because Aguilar, he throws a lot of picks. And I think the only way that Syracuse wins is by picks. But at the same time, Josh Heupel is a really good coach. He's played a lot more games like this than Fran Brown has. Fran Brown's news coordinator not news coordinator, but recruiting coordinator for Georgia. So he has played big games, but now he's a head coach, and you're also playing with Georgia, not Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. I think in order for them to win this game, I will not be shocked, truthfully, Cole. I will not be shocked if Syracuse can come away. Just because there's, when you lose a quarterback in the middle of the year kind of thing, it's a little hard to replace him.
Yeah, especially spring ball like that. Yeah. You already, and not to mention, it'd be different if he was a transfer in the fall or something, and that he's getting his first reps in the spring. No, he played for them for a whole season. He knows your schemes, he knows everything, knows the plays, and then he's just up and gone like that, and then you have to almost scramble to get a guy, but I don't know.
Well, I just think Tennessee has a lot of question marks. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have, we don't know what Tennessee has.
They don't know what they have.
They don't know what they have either. So, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting game. I do think Tennessee wins. I'm not gonna say I think Syracuse covered the spread. It's 13.5 or something. I think Syracuse, covers that, but. I do think Tennessee wins. Will not, if you go pick an upset of the week, actually, I ain't gonna say it yet. If you're going to pick a couple of upsets of the week, you can pick this game because Tennessee has a lot of question marks. I don't think, but also, I ain't gonna say this too, Vegas always knows. So, Vegas may know something that we don't. But, I think it's I don't see how, truthfully, with you losing Kyle Cord, how you truthfully can do it. And I will say, there's a kid from Texas, John Day Cook is his name. Played at Texas. He's a receiver at Syracuse now. If Syracuse wants to win this game, he has a big game because, once again, Tennessee's going to be able to recruit. I mean, you have Peyton Manning, you have Tennessee money, you have NIL, unreal, right? So Tennessee's going to have players, but I don't know if Aguilar can hold to the ball good enough. And I think you're going to have a lot of takeaways, but that's the only way that Syracuse will win. And I still, right now, I'm not bold enough to say Syracuse will win.
That was a stupid pick.
But Tennessee, I do think will win that game.
I'm kind of in the same spot. I've been hearing about a lot of that game, seeing a lot about that game. Kind of in the same position. I think for really major upset wise this weekend, I think that is one of the games to be watching, or one of the couple games to be watching. But it's like you said, with the question marks that Tennessee has, I just don't know. Obviously, the biggest question mark is quarterback. You don't know how that's going to play out. But I think across the board, looking at the rest of the offense, defense, that kind of thing, I think Tennessee still has things figured out enough in those aspects. I agree with Cole. I like Fran Brown. I'm big on him. But as much as I would like to take Syracuse, but I don't think there's enough question marks for Tennessee to take Syracuse confidently in this game. So I think I'm going to have to go with
I think it's going to be very low scoring.
Y'all wait till Fran Brown.
Close.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be close. I'm sorry for calling your pick stupid. I think it's stupid. But, I do think Fran Brown can. Syracuse can't get it done. They can't get it done.
He can win this game. Not saying
they're going to play gritty. They're going to play hard. But, we'll see what happens. What's up, Eastside? How you doing, buddy?
Coach spent facts.
But we'll see what happens. Who's next, Cole?
Sorry. We're going to take it to Doak Campbell Stadium. We're going to put this. All right, we got Florida State versus Alabama. Boston College transfer. Thomas Castellanos is going to take the ball for the Noles. Ty Simpson for Alabama. Florida State coming off an awful season, especially after getting blown out in the Orange Bowl 2 years ago, coming in, going 2-10 last year. Mike Norvell's got something to prove. Adding Thomas Castellanos, I didn't know if it was if it was if I don't know what they're talking about, but Thomas Castellanos versus Todd Simpson. Alabama's a 13.5-point favorite. This game's in Tallahassee. I think this is another game to go either way. Especially, the Noles are trying to prove something after coming off that 2-10 season. Alabama losing to Michigan in the bowl game. You don't have Jalen Milroe. Kalen DeBoer, his squad going to Tallahassee. What do you expect from this game, Derian?
Tom, can you just pick real quick so I can get my reaction live real quick?
You want me to pick?
Yeah, because if you pick Florida State,
I wasn't gonna pick Florida State.
Gosh,
You know what? Give me the freaking Noles. I'm kidding. I'm taking the Tide going into Tallahassee. It's going to be rocking. They just had their stadium redone. They're going to pack it out. They're expecting to go in this game, like I said, 14 times after going 2-10. Florida State thinks they're winning this ball game. They think Thomas Castellanos is the next big thing for the program. Todd Simpson.
College, bro. We're not going to say he's the next.
I think there's a lot of hype about this.
Thomas Castellanos is pretty good at BC,
I
but
think
he's not
there's
good enough to quit during the middle of the season.
I think there's a lot of hype about this Florida State team this year, but I think a lot of that hype is coming out of Tallahassee.
Yeah,
I'm not big enough. I'm not saying I'm a Bama guy, but I don't believe enough in that FSU team. I think majority of that hype is coming from them. I don't see them get it done. I'm taking Bama.
Before we get to Darian's pick, Texter says Castellanos has been talking a ton of trash ahead of this game. I forgot about that. He has been talking a lot of
so much. Man,
so does he back it up or does he eat a crow?
No, he does not back it up, bro. He played at Boston College, and not only did he play at Boston College, he got benched at Boston College.
Yeah.
So he's not going to back nothing up, and it's 80% chance of rain. Don't get me wrong, he can run the ball. I mean, he may can go play running back somewhere or receiver somewhere, but he's not going to play quarterback anywhere. And I hope I eat my words because I hope Florida State will be good because football is good when Florida State's good, truthfully. But bro, Kalen DeBoer is not playing no games this year. This dude is going to go crazy this year. Just let everybody know. You can say whatever you want to over there, Cole. Bama is going to the college football playoff.
Okay.
Bama's going to make the SEC championship game. Bama's going to do all that because Bama is good enough to do all that. And you can boo me all you want. This is not going to be a close game. And I don't know why Thomas Castellanos thinks so. I will say there's a new offense, there's a new defense coordinator. Defense coordinator came from Nebraska. Great coach. Gus Malzahn, great coach. But at the same time, bro, we're not going to sit here and act like Florida State's going to be good. And unfortunately enough, I hope they are. But I just don't see it. There's no way that Bama does not cover 13.5 points. I just don't see it. I could be very, very wrong. And, like I said, Florida State probably has, 60 transfers? Like, we don't know. So I'm kind of ready to see how that goes and how that looks. But, yeah, I think Bama wins.
Think Tide embarrassed?
I think, yeah. I mean, low-key, I think they could.
Does the Tide roll?
I think the Tide rolls straight through Tallahassee with – I mean, it's going to be pouring rain, too.
Yeah.
So
I think it stays somewhat of a close game for, I would say, at least
5 minutes.
Some of the first quarter, possibly, potentially some of the second quarter. But I agree. By no means am I a Bama guy, but I think after the year they had, first year head coach for I don't know how to say the last name.
Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer.
First year for him last year, they proved absolutely nothing other than Ryan Williams is one heck of a player. But I think this year they have a lot to prove, and they're kind of on the same train as LSU. They've got a lot of tough games this season. They've got a lot of chances to either prove that they're worth it or prove that they're not worth all the talk. And I think this is one of those games where if I'm Alabama, yes, I'm projected to win this game, but if I'm Alabama, I'm going down to Tallahassee and I'm trying to get out of there either leaving Florida State with a goose egg or beating them by multiple possessions.
And I'll also say this, Kellen DeBoer last year, they lost at Oklahoma, lost at Vandy.
Vandy.
So you never know. I mean, he might not be good on the road, but then
Capital
what?
V.
He did do. He did go beat
Vandy.
LSU 41-6 on the road. So I think that team has had a lot of up and downs, and I don't know. I think it was his first year. You got to kind of get your own system in there. You still have the leftovers of, Nick Saban and how people wanted that to be done. Is everyone bought in? I don't know. But I will say I do not see a world where Florida State wins this game at all. But I also do not see Vandy beating Alabama either. So it very well could happen. Not saying it couldn't happen, but just because Castellanos, whatever the heck his name was, got benched and then cried about it and then left to go to Florida State, I hope they don't win a game just for that reason. I do want them to be good, but
Give me a high five.
he's annoying and I don't like him. So
All right, so we're all picking Bama there, I see.
yeah,
So we're going to now take it to Darian's favorite game on the Pick'em. We got South Carolina and Virginia Tech. This matchup going on Sunday afternoon or
3:30.
Sunday at 3 o'clock. Lenore Sellers, highly talented quarterback coming into this game. Kyron Drones as well. But, looking at this Lenore Sellers led offense, Mazio Bennett, and you got Dylan Stewart on the edge. What is Shane Beamer going to do in this game? Coming off a Cheez-It Bowl loss after an 8-4 season last year, beat Clemson on the road, thought they deserved a spot in that college football playoff. I didn't think any 3-loss teams were getting in last year, but Clemson was the only team. Shane Beamer and his squad thought, they should have had that playoff bid, if not before us or, with us. And then looking at Virginia Tech, who I thought could have been a contender last year for the ACC championship at the beginning of the season. I'm a huge Kyron Drones guy. When he's on. Dealt with a lot of injuries last year. When Clemson went to Virginia Tech last year, we'd like to freaking play. They had my heart racing the whole game coming off of a Louisville loss.
Yeah.
And, going there, back-to-back road games to Pitt. But looking at this Lenore Sellers-led team, I think is as much as I hate to say it, I'm not picking them to win. I think it's going to be a great game. Looking Kyron Drones versus Lenore's, I'm picking the Gamecocks. I am. I was trying to get it out of my tongue, but Derian, you go ahead. I know you didn't expect me to say that, but I'm gonna do it.
Well, I'll say this. This is what I will say about the Gamecocks, right? So Shane Beamer's playing against his hometown team. For one, there's no way. There's no way Frank Beamer actually pulls for South Carolina. Truthfully, let's be real. There's just no way. I know his son's coaching. There's just no way.
People.
Yeah, and people looking at us like we're weirdos, but it's all right. I think the problem with USC that I have question marks is they don't. What do they have, right? They don't really have weapons. I think that's the biggest thing. I will say them getting phased on, and I won't say them. We getting phased on. I will say that getting phased on kind of helped a lot, and I think for South Carolina in general, moving ahead, I think it's huge for Nick Harbor to really get established. If Nick Harbor can actually, focus in like he has been on football, like he is now, then that'll be huge. But again, I say Kyron Drones is the quarterback for Virginia Tech, and I think this is a huge game for Virginia Tech. If Virginia Tech can somehow win this game, which I don't think is going to happen, it'll be pretty massive for them and pretty massive for that program going forward. But I do think at the beginning of the game it's going to be close. I really do. But I do think South Carolina wins by 10 at least, just because I think South Carolina just has too many, they're just that much better in my opinion than Virginia Tech. But we don't know. We don't know. What goal? Yes, I am working for South Carolina Athletics. Yes, I am.
Congratulations!
Go Cox.
Congratulations, brother.
It's a little different, and can't wait to represent the Garnet and Black. So it's going to be great to be there in a program that's growing. Football's getting better, and obviously women's basketball is the best in the country. And then obviously you look at other sports and basketball and baseball, and South Carolina's one of the only schools in the country that's 4 major sports. You probably only can talk about that by Tennessee. So it's great, to be able to go down there and showcase what I can do to help raise money for them and make sure that everybody at Gamecock Club is happy. They're renovating the stadium, which is going to be cool. It's about time because they need some box seats, which they only have one box. But yeah, I think as far as South Carolina goes as a whole, I think they're going to be really good this year. I mean, when you have the North Sellers back there, it's kind of hard not to be good. And I'm going to say this: I think the 2 best quarterbacks in the country are probably from South Carolina. So as far as that goes, yeah, I think South Carolina does pull away with it, and they will win. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Don't like to talk about South Carolina too much, especially when Clemson's not playing them. Got my own opinions about South Carolina, but season hasn't started yet. I haven't seen anything from them. So I'll kind of save some of those. But I think South Carolina wins this game. I like what you said. I think they win this game by 10, minimum 10. I think they possibly win this by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I just don't think Virginia Tech has enough weapons.
Stretch.
I'm honest. I just don't think Virginia Tech has enough talent across the board, enough weapons across the board. But another thing, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but another thing I wouldn't say excited to see this year, but curious to see is how teams prepare and plan for Lenore Sellers.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year, the biggest thing was he's mobile. He can move on his feet. He can run. I think there's a lot of – I'm not saying he's the same, but I think there's a lot of similarities with Jalen Milroe's first year.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of lit it up on the field, running around. He could scramble. He could take off for a deep run. I think we saw a lot of that from Sellers last year. I think the biggest thing for teams this year is, okay, how do you force him to pass, one? How do you keep him from breaking out for 166 yards like he did against us? Yeah. But at the same time, you have to rely – your front seven does their job and keeps him in the pocket or keeps him contained. You've got to rely on your DBs to step up and be those guys to guard guys like Mazio Bennett and Nick Hornby.
Oh,
Y'all keep talking.
anyways, I also think they do have a great quarterback coach too. Shula is one of the best quarterback coaches. You know, you look around it, and you know him becoming offensive coordinator. I think that helps a good bit. So, so I guess we're just going to pop up a Clemson LSU picture real quick, and we'll go from there in a couple of seconds. Let's see what happens here.
Well, we thought we were prepared this week, which we were. We came in on full battery on our camera and it died. So we're going to have to wrap this up. We got a commenter, Goats. It's the wrong Go Tigers, but welcome to the program.
But yeah, so yeah, I think South Carolina, it's a must win for South Carolina.
I mean, somebody's got to pick Virginia Tech, right?
Well, you go ahead.
No, I'm kidding. But I think it's a big deal to the Beamer family for sure.
Oh yeah.
To see that game. We are going to take it now to the real Death Valley, Clemson versus LSU, a game that everybody's looking forward to. And not just in Clemson, South Carolina, but the country. Clemson's coming into this game as -3.5 point favor. K. Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, probably top quarterbacks taken in the next draft. Looking at both offenses, defenses, the wide receiver rooms, this is going to be all around great matchup in the real Death Valley, kicking off at 8:00 Saturday night with Kirk and Herbie. Kirk and Fowler on the call. I'm going to keep it simple. Give me the Tigers. I think it's going to be a great game. I don't think it's going to come to the end.
Which Tigers?
That's what did I say? Did I say give me the Tigers?
Yeah.
Okay. I said give me the Clemson. Give me K. Klubnik and the Clemson Tigers. I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't think it's going to be one of those games that come down to a field goal or something. But I could see us winning this game by 14. I could see us winning this game by 7. I could also see this game coming down to like a Louisville. LSU driving the ball and getting that big defense. I hope not, because if it does,
Cole's gonna have a heart attack.
Yes. So give me the Tigers. If we're going to do a score prediction, I'll take the Tigers 28-17. Clemson Tigers.
Okay, I like that. I don't think LSU offensive line is going to hold up. That's my biggest thing. If LSU had the offensive line, I think it'd be a close game, but since it's not, I'm not taking it like that. I think it can be a blowout. I like Dean Cott's pick because I think it could very well get really out of hand real fast. But I will say this. Clemson as a whole is just better than LSU. And not only you got a better head coach, you have better coordinators, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my prediction was 38-24. But my biggest thing I'm ready to see is just how does Adam Randall perform? I'm really curious about that. If Adam Randall can go out there, rush for 100 yards, and it's going to be a long day for LSU. But if they can stop our run, if they can stop Clemson's run game, how does that happen, right? How does that actually affect how much pressure is going to be on Cade, right? And so I don't think their defense can, handle it, truthfully. And I think that Clemson should win by 2 touchdowns, at least, in my opinion. But, we'll see what happens.
I think we've discussed about all we can discuss.
Felt a lot of Clemson LSU.
Simplest way put, taking the Tigers in a real death battle and taking Clemson. I'm taking them at 34-20.
Okay. Well, it's going to be –
Sorry to cut it so short.
no, you're good. It's going to be
tired.
a heck of a week 1 matchup. We got some ACC ball tonight. We got NC State, East Carolina.
Got some Big 12 ball tonight. Watch the UCF Knights. Gotta watch DJ Black. Hopefully he balls out.
There's just 2 things real quick that we didn't talk about. UNC, North Carolina, and TCU. Bill Belichick starting off. Be very
0-1.
Be very interesting. First off. Secondly, I know we talk a lot about college football, but we just need to know about Michael Parsons. All right.
I don't want to talk about it.
And
I'm a Cowboys fan.
Cole loves the Cowboys, so I didn't bring it up because he's going to be hurting because now Green Bay has the best defensive player in all the league. And Jerry Jones just doesn't want to pay people. So I don't really know what the trade details were, but I do know Green Bay was like, hey, we'll give you 3 first-rounders, and guess what? We'll pay him whatever he wants. And I think that's what you have to do with a great player. So we're going to see how
Well, the thing is, a couple days ago, Jerry Jones said there's nothing to worry about. This happens. And dadgummit, if we didn't start the podcast and somebody commented Michael Parsons to the Packers, I'm like, what are you talking about?
What about the rumors of TCU's quarterback potentially being a first?
It's confirmed. It's confirmed.
That's confirmed.
He confirmed it. So congrats to him. But we're going to go to the text line one more time. Mark it down. This game is won or lost. Lost with the Clemson D-line. Lots of pressure, and Clemson wins. No pressure, and it could be a long night. Last year, the LSU quarterback had great numbers with a clean pocket, but he was among the country's worst when pressured. I agree with that. You kind of said something about that versus South Carolina. When Dylan Stewart, Cocknard coming off the edge. If they can do it, this Clemson defense is going to give them a rough night. Give us Clemson Tigers. Thank you, guys, and we will see you next week. The Tigers Den Podcast.